What is going on, everybody? It's Chip Walton, Chop and Brew. Welcome to the garage with Chop and Brew. I just grabbed a real quick beer, a Fair State Pils made with the finest St. Paul water in Minnesota here. I'm grabbing this and taking it inside. I'm also grabbing the first thing I'm going to tell you about in this update, which is that is a bucket with 6 gallons of sap. So straight out the sugar bush. I believe it's about 1010. The last time I did this 3 years ago, I believe the sap was about 1010. And I'm going to just use it and completely replace water in the brewing process with it. It's not the biggest deal. The last beer I brewed, I shot all the video, I shot the process, and then I never followed up with tasting notes before the beer was gone. So I'm basically replicating that beer so that I can put the footage from like 2018 or 19 together with footage from this year. But I'm just going to do Maris Otter, Northern Brewer hops, and really just kind of keep everything pretty clean and clear so that whatever difference you could taste from the sap instead of the water will be clear. I'm going to ferment with Imperial Cable Car. Uh, my basement's still about 60, and it's about to be a little cooler for the next 3 or 4 days, so upper 50s. So that's project number one. I call that Sap Moon Golden Ale because last time I did this, the day I brewed, I realized that night it was a full moon and it was the Sap Moon. They call the full moon in March the Sap Moon. So I was like, oh, that's so cool. So anyway, but while I was at the farm getting this sap at Rising Sun Farms in Wisconsin, River Falls, Wisconsin, I got some sap that was cooked to about 25 bricks, but not nearly the 67 bricks that I found out that actual syrup is. And what this project is, and everything's got too much of a story with me, but about 2 or 3 years ago, Chuck Gosnell has a get together called Porktoberfest. And his friend, Jason Headland, showed up with this bottle of something just this lusciously brown. It looked like maple syrup, and he called it Maple Drink. And what it basically it's basically a mead or a wine fermented from a 25 brick, so an 1100 concentration of sap. So he takes like 13 gallons of sap or 20 gallons of sap, whatever the water content or the sugar content is, and boils it down to about 2 gallons, pitches yeast into this 1100 must, and gets this like mead like beverage. But God, it is just so mapley and so beautiful. And I've always wanted to do it. And every year we've passed through sap season and I've just missed my opportunity. So this year I kind of took the cheater route though. And I feel bad. I told Jason, instead of going to the farm and getting 20 gallons of sap and then using my 3 burners and kettles to boil it down, I just asked Ryan Brown, the sap farmer, I was like, dude, can you just like pull some on its way to becoming syrup? So we had this fun day. I shot a little video. I might show it here, or I might just wait until the bigger episode about this project. But yeah, it was fun. Like he and I used this scoop and we were trying to figure out like what bricks, because all of his hydrometers don't even like do homebrew scale. Like he's talking like 40, 50, 60 bricks. I'm like, I need 25 bricks. And he's like, you're going to have to bring your own hydrometer or rehydrometer or refractometer. So yeah, we did a lot of equilibrium. A lot of times it was off the scale, and then we'd have to get some thinner runnings. But so I got 2 gallons of that I'm fermenting inside, or a gallon and a half actually. Pitched wine yeast, rehydrated wine yeast. I oxygenated. I'm throwing the staggered nutrients that you would put in a mead in that. And the idea is if that works out pretty good, hopefully I'll get to go back one more time this sap season and buy like 3 gallons from them and do like a full 3 gallon carboy and maybe split some of that and put it on wood even. So that's those two projects, the sap related projects. What else? Janet's Brown Ale. All of the guys that are doing the Janet's Brown Ale project have brewed. We have all, for the most part, hit final gravity, which means we're on track for doing our bottle swap and tasting notes in April. My version, so it was a dry malt extract for the most part, some grains, but dry malt extract, and it was 1068. I threw a 1 liter starter of Imperial flagship, and it in 3 days got to final gravity of 1017. So once I got to that point, I threw in 1 ounce of the Centennials for dry hopping, and I'm going to let it hang out a couple more days, and then I'm going to throw it in the basement where it's going to be a little cooler, and then I'm going to give it the other ounce of Centennials. Then I'm going to keg it, and I'm going to bottle it from keg for our tasting notes. So it's been really cool, the response to the little Janet's Project video I posted. A lot of people said that they were going to be brewing it either before or on Big Brew Day. A lot of people just relayed a lot of like really nice, kind, positive thoughts about Tasty and their experiences having known them, and just kind of like rest in peace, taste in peace, one person said. I like that. TIP, Tasty. What else is in buckets? I think maybe that's about it. I kegged the Maibach, so I also did a DME Maibach from Dawson's Mashmaker book that also hit the numbers. I'm really falling in love with extract brewing, with yeast starters and late editions of DME. It's really cool, and none of them so far have been like all twangy, cutting out the liquid and all that. So we're gonna have a Maibach that I'm gonna lager now until May, essentially. The King Cake Ale is pouring, and I'm hoping to get some tasting notes on it to wrap up that episode and show you guys that. It is, it never got lower than 1035, which is weird, but in the end, once it's got carbonation in it, it just tastes kind of like Orange Crush. Like if there was an orange soda of beers, this beer is it. So I felt like there was something else, but I can't remember offhand. So just a quick update from the garage. I appreciate y'all. The reaction and response to the dip hopping episode with the brewers from Fair State and Arbiter was awesome. I got a hop water episode coming out with some pro brewers giving tips on hop water. And then we're going to do homebrewed hop water. Paul Illa and I both have kind of a couple of different ways to get at it. And then, yeah, dude, there's always something, right? Strangely enough, since I became a dad, I've brewed way more, which I was led to believe would be the opposite, or I convinced myself would be the opposite. But I'm also keeping the batches small. The Janet's Brown Ale is the only thing I have brewed or plan to brew that's full. Like even this 5 gallons of sap, I plan to just do a brew in a bag, no sparge, not even my hand sparge I would normally do. Because I was hoping to keep this kind of like British golden session strength, but we'll see. Seems like every time I'm brewing a bag, it turns out bigger than I planned, even when I go really, really small on the gravity. So I can see Charlie P is losing his you-know-what in the backyard because Mommer's just pulled up and he's super upset about not being inside. So I'm going to go let the dog in. Who let the dogs in? Chip, chip, chip. All right, y'all. I'm going to go brew my sap beer. Chop for chop, brew for brew, happy fun day, Sunday, fun day. Boo for Monday.